How long did you guys say you had to be?
Got about an hour. If we're leaving at 6:20, if it's 10 minutes to downtown, we should leave here about 6:20. So it looks like we got an hour.
A little less than an hour.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So how close do we need to be up on these mics?
You're good.
Okay.
Fair. Yeah. We did the rounds a little earlier.
Cool.
Sponsored by Corona Extra.
The label behind you. Okay.
Is there anything we should know about like premise or anything like that? Is it just sit and chat?
We're
or
just
is it
chatting.
Cool.
Yeah, we're just hanging.
I just want to. I saw your improvised musical that you had.
Oh
on.
yeah.
I'm a big thespian nerd, and
For real?
unfortunately did a lot of improv too.
Yeah.
Nice.
That shit was rad.
Oh, thanks, man.
How long have you been doing the like dry? Well, that was like a dry bar thing, right?
Yeah. So there's dry bar for stand up, and then there was something that a buddy of mine started called Dry Bar Unscripted, which is strictly for improv stuff. So I hosted dry bar stand up for a while, and then we did dry bar unscripted, and now it's maybe changing to something. We'll see what happens with it. But I mean, I've done improv. Since 2010, and then Greg did improv for a while too.
Yeah, I started doing improv. Like, you know how you have to work your way up through. So I started doing classes in 2002, and it wasn't until 2005 I started performing, and then I was performing pretty regularly with Comedy Sports. I don't know if you guys got one up here. Yeah, so I was doing Comedy Sports for from 2005 till I think 2012 is when I decided to cut that one loose and just focus on stand-up. But we actually, I'm confident, Adam doesn't really remember this, I'm confident the first time we actually met was at a Comedy Sports show. I was in the middle of getting divorced, and I was sad and lonely, and I went to the guy who ran it. I was like, I need to see, can I do a show? And he's like, sure. And I show up, and it's been like 3 years since I stopped performing there. So I knew like maybe one or two of the other guys on the show, and
we didn't become friends because I was like, what's with this sad and lonely guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Do like a divorce
Seems pretty
scene
rough.
therapy or
Yeah.
something.
Every single scene that night was just like, hey, welcome to the party. Yeah, it's nice that you have your whole house. Mine's been taken recently.
Afterwards, I asked him if he'd come over to my house and spoon with me, and he was like, no. And so I was like, fuck this guy.
Yeah. It is hard saying like improv because so much of improv is just so bad. It is so bad.
Yeah.
But the good stuff's good. There's good
good's
improv,
true.
but it is 95% of it is painful.
I think the worst part is just chatting with other improv people when you're like the one who's not I don't mean like right now. I mean like when you're like tired after a show, but there's always the people that are just jazzed up, and every time you're trying to just say goodbye or something, it just turns into like a bit or whatever, and it's just
it's theater
non-stop
kids,
energy.
It's theater kids with the worst ADHD. It's like really rough.
Theater kids that can say fuck sometimes.
Sometimes. If the parents aren't around.
Yeah.
They can say it.
What's your favorite kind of improv? Just like audience yell stuff out, or like loosely
hecklers
scripted?
mostly.
Or...
That's my big fan. No, I mean I like what we do. So I perform at a place called Improv Broadway, which is like the musical thing and stuff. And so I like that. I like a lot more long form. I don't really like short form because that's the other annoying thing with a lot of improv is it's just a game and like you've been told to plug and play all the stuff and that sucks. But we'll do like a 45-minute musical or like play or things like that. That's all improvised. And those are so fun to me.
See, and I like the short form improv because it's
really
all
cheap.
Games and it's plug and play and you're kind of told what to do. So
I get that.
Yeah.
So what was like the first performy thing? Like what started? Was it like drama in high school or like?
Oh, just for stand up in general?
Or I guess what
Ever
got
in
you
your life?
into? What got you into
What's your
showbiz,
first
baby?
performance? Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Baby of
what
the year
started
for
it?
Washington State.
Yeah, I was Western Washington.
Washington. I made it to the finals. Couldn't quite.
But, those Spokane babies are hot.
Stupid fucking hot babies.
No, I attribute my like kind of the beginnings of my performing, particularly stand up, to when I was in high school, I unsuccessfully ran every year for like student government, and I just was like, I'm gonna do a funny speech. And I had a buddy of mine who was also the same. So I'd help him with some of his It's so weird to call them campaigns, but his campaign for student body treasurer, and we just did weird shit because we were trying to be funny.
He's swinging big for treasurer.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, but I ended up so I gave some pretty basically did stand-up comedy for my student body under the guise of it being a speech for student body government, and that's sort of how things got going for me. And I had the teachers roll in. Sometimes the students were like, we don't understand what you're saying, but the teachers were like, oh my god, I made a reference to Bloom's taxonomy, which is like a deep cut for anybody who's ever been in education. And afterwards they're like, how do you know Bloom's taxonomy? I'm like, maybe pass me, bitch.
What's Bloom's taxonomy?
It's there's different types of learning, from just rote knowledge to like deep judgment, and knowledge, comprehension, analysis, synthesis, judgment, comprehension, stuff like that. So it's different levels of
obviously.
Yeah. So you didn't do any research for this podcast.
Yeah.
Not on my
Bloom's
taxonomy.
Right. Listen, on my business card it says Greg Kyte knows Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah.
I can't make it
His
easier.
rider has one demand on it.
Bloom's taxonomy.
Yeah.
Bloom's
watch the
tower
clips,
defense.
dude.
Wait.
I did theater as a kid and stuff like that. I started doing plays when I was like 7 or something like that. I think I was Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Dude.
No one asked, but it was the lead role. I feel like people want to know that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I've auditioned for. I didn't get, but I auditioned for a production of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Not everyone has the talent to be Charlie.
As a 7-year-old.
As a 7-year-old.
Yeah, wait, Max, did you like audition for Charlie at like a community theater with like a bunch of other 7-year-olds at like 19?
No.
Yeah. It's like, this was last week. It took me, I aged out.
No, it was back in the day in Nampa. But whatever. It's not important. It was a rough time.
But stand-up, I started in high school. When I was 15, I did speech and debate, and one of the things you could compete in was basically just stand-up. And so I started doing stand-up there.
But what did they call it? They didn't call it.
They called it after dinner speaking.
Oh.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're trying to get laid.
Right.
It didn't work, but it was...
Trying.
Trying. It sounded like, well...
Hey, honey, you want to come to
Little
my
dry
house and
bar.
do some after-dinner speaking?
It comes with a little wink in front of the children.
Yeah.
We could after dinner speak. No, it was because the premise was it's a 6-minute original monologue written on one topic, and it should be humorous in nature, much like a speech that you might perform in a toast after a dinner. And it was like, no one does that.
Right.
That's not a thing.
6 minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
Greedy.
Yeah.
It was very much so just stand up.
Have you guys heard of Toastmasters? That's what that reminds me of. Have
Oh,
you
yeah.
heard of that?
All I know about Toastmasters, well, I know that it's like teaching you how to speak.
Yeah.
But everyone I've ever met that has done Toastmasters is a terrible person.
Yeah.
It reads like MLM type people to me.
But it's that idea of it's like it's it reads as MLM. I've always thought of it as like because I'm an accountant. That's my day job. And for accountants, it's like you really need to try Toastmasters because accountants as a like breed of people don't have
so
any people skills at all. So it's
yeah.
like maybe try speaking in front of people just once, and you'll be better.
Starting conversations with "What's your favorite number?" is real rough.
Yeah, right. It is. Yeah.
That's funny. I do freelance marketing, and I tried to do like some web design and marketing stuff for this accountant, but I like felt so weird talking to him in our meetings that I just had to be like, I can't work with you, man. I'm sorry. You're just like awkward, dude.
Tough.
Yeah.
You just like kind of sit there and stare at me, and I'm like, I don't know what you want from me, man.
I'm zero surprised.
Yeah. Greg like tours around and does stuff with accounting conferences and whatnot.
Yeah.
Because one of the very few non-socially awkward accountants that exists.
Yeah.
How high can you count?
Oh, super high, dude.
Yeah.
You give me a number, I can give you one higher than it.
1,238.
2,138.
Whoa!
Dude, you did
I know.
the flipperoo on
I
it.
know.
Accountable.
I've got my master's. No big deal.
That was intense. That was what, 4 digits?
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Dude, and I crushed your number.
more
You
than I
did.
made.
Just like
I like.
He did just try to impress you by
I'm-
letting you know it was 4 numbers that you said, though. That was cool.
I mounted your number.
amounted your accountant. Damn, that was impressive, dude.
It's, it's just what I do.
Here, I got a numbers question.
People are like, he's a legit accountant. Did you see what he did?
He's going to make
There.
you do his
Oh.
taxes for you. I got another question for you.
how would
If
you
Max
file-
makes $20 an hour and works 30 hours a week on average for an entire year, how much is his self-employment tax?
Yeah. If the IRS wrote me a letter, how scared should I be? Question 1.
Okay, this is a multiple choice question. So, how many bushels does a Tesla Cybertruck weigh? Option A, 3 bushels. Option B, 12 bushels. Option C, 90,000 bushels. Option D, a baker's dozen. Option E, 15. Option F, 850. Option G, 0.05. Option H, 111.8. Option I, 3,000. Option J, 26.1. Option K, 6,700.
Getting the vibe Max was an English major, not necessarily a
Option L,
major.
40.
I think Max declared his major.
Option M, 2 baker's dozens. Option N, 69. Option O, 111.7. Option P, 3.5. Option Q, 1,000. You get the point. I was going to go the whole alphabet, but I think the bit ran itself out.
2,183.
Oh.
No, it's 850 for sure.
No, bushels is a measure of volume. It's not a measure of weight. That's
Yeah,
like-
but it's around 60 pounds.
Rounds
isn't it? Isn't it a measure
It's
of
4
volume?
pecks.
Did you guys look up our podcast?
One
at all?
peck is 15 pounds.
We've been
Noses. It says nose bushels,
Don't
bitches.
fuck with me with bushels.
We're from Idaho, dude. We know our bushels.
This is where the screen shows the bushel cast. You just know that's
Right.
what we got into.
Yeah.
I'm going to
So?
say 69.
Nice.
That's a good answer.
I'm going to say
expected.
1 parsec.
I'm gonna say that wasn't an option. So
I still stand by my answer.
fair. Did you say yours?
850.
Yeah, it was 111.7
Okay.
bushels.
Cool.
Cybertruck?
Yeah.
No, that's not right.
All right. Well, take it up with my accountant.
Sorry, Elon.
What's the deal with Comedy Church?
Yeah.
You have a good way of describing it.
Do I?
Yeah, I think so. When we're talking to Tammy, we're staying with Tammy this week. So
Yeah. You could just know Tammy.
Tammy.
The
Yeah.
Tammy.
Yeah.
Who's Tammy?
Tammy Jackson?
No.
No, keep going.
Option A.
Tammy
Jackson.
Muller.
Option B.
These are all people who are parents of people I went to high school with.
Well, you might get
Not a
there.
bad
yeah.
way to do that.
Yeah. One of the comics on the show tonight, and he's been doing the shows with us this weekend, is Jake Christensen. So we're staying at his family's place.
Yeah, because they're
So,
from Eagle.
Tammy
theirs is there.
Christensen.
Tammy Christensen.
Nice.
Probably could have
Nailed
got
it.
there just naming Tammys. I mean, that's
Yeah.
a pretty
But-
Tammy last name.
But yeah, Comedy Church. So it's it is a fake church for ex-religious people as a comedy show, basically.
Yep.
So it's stand up the whole time through, but it's on a topic each time we do it. So like the show we'll be doing tonight, the theme is miracles, and so we do stand up. That's about the topic, and then we've got guest comedians who come on. They don't have to do the topic, but a lot of times they'll relate a little bit to it. And then it's second part interviews. So we interview them, talk to them about
That's cool.
their religious past and experiencing current religious or spiritual beliefs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yep.
What
Sounds fun.
And we have
Yeah,
a
it's a good
musical
time.
and we have a musical director
there's-
too. So
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So there's like a hymn and stuff in
Yeah.
it.
Oh, heck yeah.
And we do a toast at the end in Latin.
Right.
That's call and response that we then
Yeah.
translate for the crowd.
You guys don't like play soft rock and roll and like have
Sometimes.
kids in the front row with their hands up
We-
speaking in tongues
our-
ever?
No children are ever invited to it.
Never invited. Sometimes they show up.
Yeah,
and we're
oh,
always
that's
like,
actually true.
And
That's
we're
happened
always
a few
like, we like single out the parent. We're like going, you're a horrible parent. It's to bring your child to this, and they're like, they're cool, and it's like, all right, it's you're paying the therapy bill, not me, I guess. So
Yeah.
Well, they won't. I'll tell you that right now.
but we just, I mean, in terms of the soft rock stuff, just on the way up here,
Yeah,
our next
we're writing
show,
a song.
we thought of it. We had a theme that was enlightenment that we did last year. And we're like, that was probably the softest of all the shows
Yeah.
that we did. So we pitched that, and we're developing a new swearing themed show. But we need to write a song for the swearing show. So we started spitballing, and
Yeah.
what we came up with was "Bitch for Jesus."
Yeah, I'm a
is
bitch for Jesus
I'm a
is the name
cunt
of
for
it.
Christ. That's the part of the chorus. So
Yeah.
it's
That
Did that touch your
slaps.
heart?
did you?
a little bit, dude. Serves.
That slaps some faith up in me, y'all.
Yeah.
It's perfect. That's what it's supposed to do. So
I was a fan. Consider me an apostle, dude. That was
Wonderful. Yeah, we've been doing it for a couple years now. Greg started it originally.
yeah, we're more than a couple years. We're 6 years in, pushing 6, because it
So
started.
not us together.
Not us together. Yeah, Comedy Church as a show started in 2018, and I was doing that at a couple different venues in Salt Lake. We started at just a bar that would open for us on the weekends,
Yeah.
and then because I pitched it to the guy who runs Wise Guys down in Salt Lake City, and he was like, hard pass, and then because he's just Mormon enough to be like, I'm uncomfortable with that.
yeah.
So then I got this bar to let us do it for a couple of months. We did every other week till we got 8 shows. And then I went, and I had a bunch of comedians on local comedians on the show, and we had just shit for audiences, but the comedians were like, this is a really fun show. So it got back to the guy who runs Wise Guys that it was a fun show. So after these 8 shows that I had to deal with the bar with, I went back to him and go, hey, we kind of got our legs in a kind of proof of concept. Can I do the show here now? And he was like, what are you talking about? I always wanted you to do the show here. And it was like, cool.
Wise guy.
So we started doing it. We started doing it Wise Guys for a while. Then the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And and it was just the show's a lot of work. Running a consistent show like that, and social media and stuff like that, it's just tons of work. And I was considering just cutting it loose after the pandemic. Like I did it. It was a lot of work. I'm tired. I'm lazy. I'm not going to do it anymore. But it was like the only like regular show that had
Yeah.
a spot at like the big venue in town being
Yeah.
Wise Guys. So I was like, it's hard. So we built something. It's hard to
You
just
can't
cut it loose.
abandon it.
So then, and it was so funny because we barely knew each other.
Yeah.
Like we knew each other like from stage. Like
Yeah,
we
yeah.
knew we knew each other's stand up and that sort of stuff. And after an open mic somewhere, I was kind of venting about all that stuff.
Yeah.
To you, just about I was okay whining to you about all that stuff.
And
then
I was trying to manipulate you into letting me on the show is what I was.
Oh, you just want to be
As
on
a
the
guest,
Okay.
yeah.
And then I like
Smart.
slept on it, and I was like, I think what I really need is not to get rid of the show, but maybe just to have help. So I called him back. I was like, what would you think about being my co-host on the show?
Yeah.
Which in hindsight, horrible idea to ask because it's like I didn't even fucking know this guy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, will you be my life partner? And he was like, yeah, but the cool thing is our stand-up really meshes well. Our personalities really mesh well. We've become great friends and intimate lovers. So
That's
it's
beautiful.
really become a
If
great
that's
thing.
not blues taxonomy, I don't know what still really what it is. It was how you learn.
Yep.
Nailed it.
Yep. He's
Yeah,
learning.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll eventually it's black taxonomy. Is it like karate belts where
No. It's blooms.
Blooms.
I
Blooms,
thought you
like-
said blues.
No,
I thought it was balloons, like the tower defense game.
Which one's dumber to have thought?
Balloons. Balloons is
Fuck.
because that's just because I mean
I thought it was an
I've never
anagram
heard
or
of-
something.
I've never heard of the game. Maybe it's smart for gamers.
But what's fun is we're learning. It's
pretty cool. You get to
love that.
Did I just
Balloons.
totally?
Build monkeys that
Maybe it's-
pop balloons.
maybe it's smart
It's called
for
balloons because
gamers.
little kids can't say balloons. They say
Yeah.
balloons because they're kids.
Okay.
All right, it's a game for
Yeah,
kids.
it's like-
Okay.
Blooms.
Gotcha.
Bloom. Was that the guy who created it?
Yeah, I've got to assume so.
Yeah, probably.
It's
Those
just
guys are
favorite
always
word.
assholes like that.
Mine no. Yeah.
Like, oh, I discovered this thing. I'm gonna make it me. That's why. That's why the size is called large.
Yeah, good one. Yeah. Hey, guys. Anyways, another one, multiple choice. Fuck, marry, kill. Shakira, Michelle Obama, Amelia Earhart, the Mr. General guy, Billy Mays, Whoopi Goldberg, Hulk Hogan, Flo from Progressive, a lemon, Johnny Depp, a gallon of super glue, 16 dead dogs, Kenny Chesney, a ghost of your choice, 17 dead dogs, Morgan Freeman, Andre Bocelli, Samson, me, or Samson and me together.
Fuck, marry, kill.
Fuck Flo from Progressive.
Are you,
We all agree.
no.
I think that's
That was weird that there was silence.
No.
I mean,
I don't disagree.
I would.
Okay, fine. 17 dead dogs. Fuck the 17. Is that what we're all at?
I mean, I would say
There was a 16 dead dog option.
Oh, 16.
I'm gonna kill the 16 dead dogs.
We've already been through so much.
I don't know if you can do that.
Well, I don't feel
It's
like
on
I'll
the
have any
list.
conscience about killing 16 dead dogs. So that's my
All right.
that's I stand on that answer.
if he's killing dead dogs, does that mean they're zombie dogs now?
Good.
Marry Michelle Obama.
I think fuck.
I think
Michelle
that is the right
Obama.
answer, probably.
You said that in a way that it didn't sound lovely.
I don't think so,
No,
because
no,
then you have
I
to
didn't
quit
say that as a
cigarettes.
political.
Yeah.
Oh, make love
ya?
to Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
Is what I mean.
Barry did.
Like, did she make him? Sorry.
Or
we
did
diverted.
America make him?
Do you know why Obama quit smoking?
No.
Love the synchronicity there. That was cool.
Were you asking if we knew, or it sounds like you know?
No, we don't know. We're trying to figure
Oh,
that
I
out.
haven't asked him.
Oh, I think it's bad for your health.
Well, yeah,
but it looks
but-
super cool.
It does look super cool.
I would love to see him just even now, like during interviews,
Chain smoking.
just lighten up like newscasters of old, just like going, yeah. So
I
so,
wish people still did that, man, on TV, just like smoking a cigarette and telling you about the day. Like,
Yeah.
Did he stop smoking cigarettes, but he still smokes cigars? That's always interesting to me when I feel like people are like, oh, I
Obama?
smoke. Yeah, where there's some people, I think, didn't Michael Jordan was like that for a while, where he's like, oh, I don't smoke. But they're like, you're always smoking cigars. He's like, doesn't count. Cigars are different. Sort of attitude.
Oh right.
I feel like, yeah, I think people do that.
I think I want to say when Obama went to Cuba. Remember that whole thing?
Yeah.
during his I'm pretty sure he lit up a cigar when he was
Oh,
there.
yeah?
It would make sense.
you don't inhale cigars.
You don't.
You're not supposed to, but
So, 17 dead dogs, huh?
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Kill 'em.
Kill him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Kill him. Yeah.
All right.
Because either it's just overkill because they're already.
no, you got to bang the
Take
dead
care.
dogs, man. I don't know what you're doing.
Wait, you'd fuck the dead dogs?
You got to fuck the 17 dead dogs and marry the 16 dead dogs so they don't get sad that you just fucked 17 other dead dogs.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure if
That's-
I subscribe to that line of reasoning personally.
Or
if
there's
I
just
distance
one
myself?
dog that you didn't like, and it's the same 16 dogs that you fucked.
I don't agree with the philosophy, but the math checks out is the problem.
You're an accountant.
Who are the options?
I would marry.
Was Shakira in there? I heard Shakira.
That was
She
the
was in
first
there.
one.
Yeah.
I'm marrying Shakira.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm marrying the tube of super glue
Nice.
because
That is a commitment.
we will never get separated.
You sure will stick through it.
It was good.
Super glue.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Hey, if someone was making a movie about you, like a biopic or something, biopic, however you say it, what are 2 notes that you would give the actor playing you to really focus on?
Oh, I would say Samuel L. Jackson. You need to swear more if you're really going to convey my personality.
Yeah.
And I would say Timothy Chalamet.
Maybe get hotter.
Dress a little sluttier. Maybe the first note. I don't know. That's one. That's one per.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, how many notes do we have to give him?
2.
2?
You can add more if you want.
Dress,
There's no
dress
rule.
sluttier, but act more like a virgin at the same time. I'd say stronger virgin energy, sluttier attire.
Right.
Yeah.
Yesterday when I introduced Adam for the show, I said each of the comedians is like one of the new emotions that was introduced in Inside Out 2, and Adam was repressed sexuality.
sexuality.
Yeah, that was it.
Greg's was misplaced rage.
Yes, so it's pretty
still
accurate.
insane.
I think that was pretty
Very.
pretty.
Oh, yeah,
straight.
100%.
Yeah.
And then I started with a sex joke, and
Yeah.
all the Mormons in the crowd did not care for it.
Oh, there was someone's mom walked out after I introduced him as repressed sexuality. They were like, "Nope, not here for this."
Really?
Bounced
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Where was your show at?
Is
Mad
that
Swede?
Mad Swede?
Oh, really?
But
Yeah.
but
Do you guys get like people who are still religious because it's called Comedy Church, and so they don't
So
know
we start
what's
off every
going on?
show, Yeah.
yeah.
Warning them.
Yeah.
Basically saying like, hey, if you came because you thought this was a real religious service.
Get the
Don't
fuck
stick
out.
around.
We say, get the fuck out.
We had more problems with that when we were at Wise Guys. I
Yes.
felt.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like every now and then we'd have somebody who would come to the show all by themselves and sit very close to the front of the room and be very attentive the entire time, and as soon as it was done they would just beeline for the door and get out. And in my mind, this is the backstory I made for those guys. Is there was somebody who had a layover that was overnight at the Salt Lake City airport, and we're at La Quinta looking for something to do for the night, like Comedy Church on a Sunday. That sounds like and I missed church this morning because I was on the road. Let's go to that. And then they're like, what did I get myself into? But I'm too polite to get up and leave during the middle of your show. So I will just, with huge doe eyes, smile through the show.
What religions are you exes of?
I grew up Mormon.
Nice.
Yeah,
so
I grew
Mormon.
up evangelical. Well, I converted to evangelical Christianity when I was 13. So, and your family converted too, right?
Yeah, and I was like 5 or something like that. So I was super
gotcha.
young.
Yeah, so you definitely got
Yeah.
brought up in it. My mom, she I think every time now and then she'd like be guilty. She'd feel guilty that she hadn't introduced us to religion at all. So she's like, "Here's what we're gonna do. Then we're gonna read the Chronicles of Narnia," and that was the religion. That was enough religion to get us through. So yeah, but yeah, my brother converted to evangelical Christianity. And then because of him, I converted to evangelical Christianity. And then like 2 years later, he left evangelical Christianity. And I stayed in for 20 more fucking years before I figured it out and got out myself.
Shit.
So
Yeah.
What was your
asshole older brothers, am I right?
What was your like turn? Like what made you? Oh, this is not for me. Like, well, what was the?
What was
20 years gone.
It was a lot. See, the problem is I got into it and I found out I was like really good at religion, at being a Christian. Like I I started being asked to be in the leadership for like my youth group that I was a part of and I was like, oh, someone's interested in me and thinks, and I was like, what about all these kids who've been here forever? And I didn't realize it's like, yeah, they don't really believe at all. They're just here because their parents. You seem to really believe, so maybe you should lead all of us. And I'm like, this is weird. But also I converted when I was 13, and I have a theory that had I not had all that been like 6 months later than it was, I like would have developed intellectually to the point where I would have been like, oh yeah, no, this isn't true. You know?
I think I had the opposite happen to me. Like I almost like converted, and then I was like looking around the room at all these kids speaking in tongues, and I was like, this is a bunch of bullshit. What is going on? Like,
see, we weren't the tongue speakers. My brother's church was.
That's the type of church you went to, though?
I started like just going to youth groups with like a friend in middle school, and then I started going like all the time, and then I went to this like one camp in like 8th grade, and we're like going to the church, like we all bust over to the church or whatever, and like the reason you go to youth group when you're a kid is because you get to play games and also hang out with girls, right? Like that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
And then you go to summer camp and you're like, oh, fucking girls galore. And then it's like super Christian. And like when you get caught looking at the girls, they're like, God is not pleased with you, my child. And you're like, what? Yeah. But what's up with the angsty dudes singing in skinny jeans at the end of the night for worship? And all the girls are at the front like, speaking in gibberish. And they're like, well, that's tongues. I'm like, no.
Like, tell me more about tongues. Yeah. Interesting.
So it's like, they're like,
I was here for tongues of some kind.
I remember asking like what it was. And them being like, oh, it's the direct language that you develop between yourself and God that only you and God can understand. And I was like, oh, so it's bullshit. Okay,
right,
sick. Right, so wait, like, why
Canadian?
That makes it sound like everybody's Jesus, man. Like you don't get that. That like if everybody has a direct line to talk to God, why am I going to church? That's stupid. Like. Yeah, and so I was just over it, and my mom was like
Or
ex-Mormon,
go to a concert.
and she was like very like, she's like, I'm gonna let him figure it out
Oh,
when I was in
interesting.
middle school,
Okay.
and then when I did, she was like, told you.
Oh, fun.
That's
That would
awesome.
be so weird to be ex-religious and then see your kids start going to church all of a sudden. Good for her for letting you do your own thing and figure it out, but that would be scary for me. I think if my kids started
Yeah.
going
Oh,
to
yeah.
church,
Okay. No,
I
that's
would be
true.
nervous.
That's true.
I mean, you had that where you
well-
left and your kids kept going.
It's because I was a dad already before I like was out, and but my at that point wife, now ex-wife, was still religious, and it was still important for her to take the kids to church. But it was so funny. I was kind of in the background going, "They will come to me eventually," and they did. And they both at this point they're both grown. My daughter's 21, my son's 19, and they both. And it's actually a funny story because my daughter came out as queer when she was in high school while she was still going to the church, and I was going, this is it. And then the church was so fucking cool to her, even because I was like going, they're gonna be dicks and you'll bounce, and then they were so sweet and so accepting. I was like, God damn it! I mean, thanks for being cool to my
say
kid,
that.
but also fuck, she was supposed to join my side when this happened. And then eventually she had a deeper conversation with like, no, it's cool that you're gay, but it just means that you'll never have as full of a relationship with Jesus as if you weren't. And then she was like, oh, fuck you, I'm gone. And I was like, it happened. The long game worked.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, hell yeah. How are we on time? How are you guys?
Oh, that's a good
Yeah.
question.
31 minutes on the phone.
Okay.
Oh,
We
cool.
got like another
Yeah.
55. We need to be out of here by what time again?
About
6:20.
6:20. We got 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Sick.
Unless you guys are bored with us.
Yeah.
Not at all.
So that's all the time we have.
No, it felt like, I don't know, I always, when it's fun, it seems like it's going faster, but it seems like time is working normally right now.
Well, question. So your mom was ex-Mormon.
So my
And
mom.
So were you ever Mormon or going to the
I've
church?
been to Mormon church like twice with my grandparents.
Okay, but not with your mom.
But never with my mom.
Never with
She'll
your mom.
never step back in a Mormon
Okay,
church.
so
ever
she
again.
she was done before you were
She-
kind of conscious.
Yeah,
of
she got
religion
kicked
at all.
out of BYU.
Oh,
like,
shit,
yeah.
why?
For being too cool.
I think
Low-rise jeans in the midriff. Yeah, that'll do it.
her like roommate, fucking her
Cold
roommate.
exposed shoulder.
She my mom told me her roommate got pregnant, so she hid wine in my mom's closet to get my mom kicked out, so that the heat wouldn't be as bad on her when
Oh
she
my
left
God.
school because she was pregnant. So she was dropping out, but my mom got kicked out for the alcohol. So
Oh.
everybody in the dorm was like, you know,
Oh my god.
because it's Mormons, they're like gonna be
yeah.
like, oh, did you hear about Lisa? She was a sinner. She was drinking in her room.
Right,
Right.
right.
But they're not going to hear about Trinity, who dropped out to fucking get an abortion. You know, like
God.
Heard about Trinity? She had an immaculate conception. She's
so weird. how that
bearing the
happened.
second Christ.
Yeah.
Definitely
The
not.
Yeah,
second
the fucking
Christ.
schoolgirl
Yeah.
got kicked out for booze in the dorm.
For the blood of
She's the
Christ.
Messiah.
She just had the blood of Christ in her closet.
It was just a pack of
What-
Dasani.
What about you, Max? What was your
grew up-
religion? Was that part of your?
Yeah, we were Catholic.
Oh, okay. So religion wasn't part of your life. Then.
Fake.
We would like. All right, damn. Who was the Mormon? You.
So
No,
you've been to church twice in your life, is what it sounds like. You're Catholic.
I went every Sunday.
Whoa!
I got confirmed, did communion, did
Whoa.
all that jazz.
You don't meet
Had to-
real Catholics usually. That's
had to-
wild.
had
All
to
right,
pick a-
Pope Francis. Lay it on us.
I was Pope of Assisi or something. That's the one I chose for my
wow.
confirmation
Oh.
because they said he was funny. And yeah, now I don't go as much. But
When did you stop?
Yeah.
when I moved out of my parents' house after high school, probably.
Oh yeah.
But
Was that surprising to them? Do you think, or do you think they're like, he's a time bomb? God
No,
will-
like, I'm-
he will leave us and God will leave him.
and it did.
I don't know. I don't hate going.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go when I visit my parents or something. When they
Right.
come down on a Sunday, we'll go. And
Cool.
I don't hate it.
So
at all.
there's a difference though between going to church and believing in God. Like what's
Yeah,
your
yeah.
what's your belief in God?
I think there's. I feel like it's such a bitch answer,
give
but
us
I
the
think
bitch
there's
answer.
something. I
Yeah.
think there's something there.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's not a
think
bitch
if-
answer, man.
I think if
Literally every religion is just doing that as well.
yeah,
So it's
I feel
totally
like
fine.
taking
Right.
it's like I don't know, taking the agnostic route. I feel like it's
Yeah.
just like everyone's like pick a side. It's like, I don't know. I like to think so.
But-
It helps me not be a dick.
But no, you
know?
did pick a side because
Yeah.
because that's the whole thing is it's like because agnostic just means you're not sure.
Yeah.
And you said, but I think there's something out there, so you picked a side. You're
Yeah.
like
Okay.
theism. You're not saying Westminster Baptist Church or something like that.
Yeah.
But you are picking a side because that's the same with me. Where I would say I am an agnostic, but gun to my head, I don't think that there's anything bigger than us out there. But I have been so wrong about so many things in my life that there's a good chance I'm wrong about that too.
Yeah.
And so I like to say that I'm a doubting atheist. So it's like I'm an atheist, but every now and then.
Yeah. Whereas I'm still secretly Mormon and I'm playing the long game to convert Greg. And it's like, yeah, religion's bullshit.
Right.
But there is something to it, right?
Right. And then he's like, let's go to Boise and we'll stay at this amazing Mormon's family where the mom cooks us every meal and is the most motherly person
Sweetest.
you've
This
ever
could
met
be
in
your
your
life.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that'll do it. And he was pretty close.
It's pretty close. He said he almost went to church today.
If church had started later and if I'd gotten up and she's like, hey, you want to come with us to
Have
church?
you ever been to Mormon church?
I have been.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
boring.
dude,
Yeah.
come on.
It's only 2 hours now, though.
Music game. We
in my day.
We had like a rock band for worship and praise at my evangelical church, and then you go to Mormon church and it's like unenthusiastic organ music. Hard pass. I'd
None of
rather
it compares to Catholicism.
You'd what?
I said none of it compares
Oh.
to Catholicism.
yeah.
Sure.
Straight
But
concert.
we were talking about that where it's like we've thought about going to a Catholic mass together, and Adam, you were like,
I don't think it's so bad. I did enjoy it.
I was just like, the thing I don't like is I don't know the moves.
Yeah.
Like
It's tough.
Like it's like, oh shit, everybody's standing up now. It's like
Standing,
and then
kneeling,
oh, we gotta
sitting.
nobody give us like at least an outline of the moves so I know.
But they
what
changed
to
a
do.
lot of that too.
Oh, did so
Yeah,
you,
they give you
yeah,
like
there's, like,
3
a little
books
less.
to look at, and it's like which one like tells me when to sit and stand, which ones are the verses we're following, and
Okay,
it gets
yeah.
confusing.
Yeah.
for
I feel like back in the day when I would go, it was a lot of constant movement.
Yeah.
And then I heard they changed, so I went back and I remember being like, oh yeah, there's way less.
oh, okay.
I thought.
Nice. Tell them about taking communion at the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah,
That's a great story.
Well, the first time I ever went, it was like an old Catholic church, so there's not much space between the pews and stuff anyway, because it was like built at a time that everybody was malnourished and tiny, I guess. I'm not sure. but so we all had to like stand up to get communion, but I was there in high school with some friends and I was like, I don't want to take communion.
I don't want to take your apostate communion
Yeah.
and soil my tongue.
Literally in Mormonism, they call Catholicism the whore of all the earth. As a church. Isn't that fun? It's
And
pretty
that's why he
intense.
went. He's like, so we're fucking, right?
Where them whores on this earth?
And us Catholics don't think about you guys at all.
Not at all.
I didn't know you had all these.
You didn't know the strong
Yeah.
feelings every
That's
church,
amazing.
Christian church has towards Catholics?
Well, I mean, I knew.
But
there's
when
a
you're
general,
the coolest kid in the school, man,
Right.
you don't care about the
Also,
small
I'm not
fish.
very Catholic. I don't know. I thought that everyone just kind of hated each other a little bit.
No, you're fair. The Catholics are rich enough; they don't have to pay attention to any of the other
Yeah,
ones.
and
It's
big
fine.
enough that it's like, yeah.
And I think that's
In
the main reason why all the other
Excelsius
churches.
Deo, motherfucker.
I think that's why all the other churches don't like it, is because it's just the most successful one.
Did you just say Agnus Deo, motherfucker?
In
Excelsius
Excelsius Deo.
And Excelsius Deo. Nice.
Yeah.
But I was supposed to get up to
Moving
get
on.
I want that bumper sticker.
just Deo,
Motherfucker. Yeah.
I was supposed to get up. We got up, but there was like no place for us to go, and I was like, "Where am I supposed to go?" And people were like, "Oh, just go up there anyway."
For
And
the
I was
communion,
like,
yeah.
For the communion,
Yeah.
and I was like, "I'm trying not to do that though." And they're like, "But you got to." And I was like, "Well, is there somewhere else I can go?" And people behind us were like, "You can just come back to this pew." And I was like, "Great." And then they're like, "And then you can go up with us." And I'm like, "No, I'm trying to not go up." And they're like, "Well, just go up to the front and like cross your arms in front of you, Wakanda forever
Yeah.
style." Greg put it. And like, just do that, and they won't give it to you. And I was like, okay. So we went to the front, and I did this, and the priest was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, I thought this meant don't take it. And he was like, oh, you could just say don't take it. And I was like, oh, then I don't want to take it. He's like, okay, go to the back.
But like this is like
Is that the thing?
Yeah, that's what they would do before communion if you hadn't been communionized.
Well,
Then
the priest who was there, I don't know if it's because I interrupted too much at that point, and he was just fucking with me or what, but he literally was like, what are you doing? I was like, I don't want to take it. He's like, just tell me. I was like, I don't want to take it? Okay, move on.
That's like me at a Starbucks always, where it's like, I can't remember, which one's Venti and Grande and what is, and there's like, just say small, medium, or large. We understand what that means.
No, you say small.
Yeah, until you know.
That'd be nice if you could order that as communion. Can I get a Grande communion? Extra side of bread.
Just a cup of Merlot.
Right? Did you? Oh, was the communion? Was it like it's wine at Catholic Church, right? Or is it great?
They give kids juice and sometimes the adults wine at the church that I went to.
Okay.
Oh.
at mine, everyone just would drink out of the one thing.
But was it wine or grape juice?
It tasted like wine.
Okay,
I never
I'm gonna say
saw
it was
where
wine.
it came from,
Yeah.
but
I'm not sure if it was a.
I never saw past the tabernacle. You know,
What do you mean you never saw where
Was
it
it
came
a
from?
Cabernet Sauvignon?
Jesus'
or
blood.
was it
I saw them up there, but I never saw the process of them getting it.
So-
I guess.
so here-
Idea of fun, you just got a little lever there.
yeah.
a little tap.
It's on tap. This is a funny thing is that as evangelicals, we would shit on Mormons
Cool, man.
because they use water
Yeah.
to take communion, and we'd be like, yeah, water, because their religion isn't the real religion. It's very watered down. Of course that kind of thing. Like, we were such snobs then, and here we are drinking fucking grape juice because we're too big of pussies to have actual wine.
Yeah.
Like the way that Jesus said. So much hypocrisy.
Yeah. Do you know why Mormons use water? Did anyone ever tell you that?
No.
It was because there were threats of poisoning the Mormons at one point, and so you
Oh.
can see poison better in water than you can in wine.
Oh wow.
So they started using water.
And in hindsight, I go, it's all just.
We almost
like,
had
Wine
him.
is the poison. I thought.
Stronger poison. Stronger than that. No one was
Before
just trying
Loco?
to. People weren't trying to party with Joseph Smith back then.
Do you guys know why you always take 2 Southern Baptists fishing with you instead of just one?
Oh yes, I do,
if
but
you
I
take-
forgot.
Because if you take one, they'll drink all your beer.
That's
That's it.
I've heard that
That's
joke
right.
with Mormons as well.
Really?
So it's like,
That
this
is
is
it.
less accurate.
It does feel less
Yeah.
accurate with Mormons.
Not where we grew up.
Was
But
it? Was it more like scandalous?
A lot of people that I knew that were like Mormon were at my house drinking beers with my dad.
Interesting.
I knew like the Mormons that would like, they would do kind of everything but actual substance. Like they would drink cough syrup and stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they
Oh,
wouldn't
yes,
drink
okay,
beer or
yeah.
anything like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
Yeah,
It's
the
like-
workarounds.
Do you have
drink
any?
NyQuil during the day or something.
Right.
I feel like that's part of the problem with any sort of religion. If it's like, don't do this, it's like, then I will do something that's arguably sketchier.
Right. I'm gonna huff paint and guzzle a NyQuil or
I can't have
Listerine.
cigarettes.
Like, you got any
Yeah.
Listerine around?
Hey,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
smoking weed in this religion, but nothing about heroin? All right. There we go. It's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, the Bible doesn't say shit about fucking heroin, does
That's how
it?
you know
Bath
God's not
salts,
real, you know?
Yeah, opium was a problem then. You think they would have mentioned it at least once.
Weird.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that, like, I mean, obviously there's a bunch of times where it's not true, but a lot of times Mormons have, like, the best sense of humor.
Really?
They
I'll
laugh
take
at,
it. That sounds great.
or it's like, I think of it as like, it's like if you were a murderer, you probably wouldn't laugh at jokes about, like, when people joke about murder or something, either
Yeah.
because you're like, I could do that joke better. That hits too close to home for me. Whatever the
do
reason
that
is, they probably wouldn't laugh at it because they're, like, living in it. But I
do
feel like
love the idea
Mormons,
of a
since
murderer
they're-
who's doing murder for research purposes, I guess, for those jokes. You're like, oh, they do scream weird.
Yeah,
Ugh.
but like
That'd be good.
it's like someone who cheats on their wife probably wouldn't laugh at a joke about cheating on their wife or something. So they'd be
okay.
like, eh. But like I feel like Mormons, since they like can't do a lot of, like they can't do not normal things, but like there's a lot that they can't do.
Yeah.
So like literally everything is also not fantasy, but like not their life. So like
Yeah.
they can look at everything as a joke
Yeah.
Oh.
generally, if they're in like a comedy crowd or something.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, I think it's a pretty welcoming group of people as well, who just like the base reality is like, I don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. So I also feel like part of that is why they're pretty easy to laugh for the most part.
It's like if you don't drink, you laugh at someone acting drunk because you're like, I'm not like that.
Yeah, right. And I think some of it. I think you're the resident expert right here, Adam. But I think part of it is
twice
the Mormon,
church. But I know Mormons.
But I think most Mormons would be like, yeah, what we believe is weird, but it's true.
Yeah.
So it's like, we can't drink coffee. That's weird. But do you have about 20 minutes where I can explain why we don't drink coffee? It's almost like, does that...
We are also silly gooses.
Yeah.
Is your family still like Mormon or
half and half? Yeah, I've got a brother and I'm one of 5 kids. And so 2 of them have left. 2 are still in. My mom's still in and my dad's out.
Okay.
Yeah.
My mom, her sister was like pretty Mormon, like until maybe like I guess it would have been like right after my cousin's like wedding, because he got married in the temple and everything, and this was in like 2013 or something. But then like after my grandpa passed away the next year, like everyone kind of was like, huh. And then like they got divorced and he like ended up having a kid out of like wedlock and stuff. And so it was kind of like everyone was kind of just started being like, life happens, you know, like you can't just like, and grandma was like kind of the only one bitching about it at that point. And, but like my uncle had been drinking coffee for years, like, cause he just converted to marry my aunt or whatever. So like both my grandpa married into it and my uncle married into it and stuff, and neither of them were ever serious about it. They were just like, it's a cool community, it's a fun like thing or whatever, but like that's not their like main thing. Where like my grandma was like fucking in it because she grew up in it in like the 30s and
I feel like that's the difference, because we all converted, and so we didn't have like that familial pressure that other people do. Like we have people on the show sometimes who they're like, sometimes they'll be bolder than I am, where they're like, yeah, that fucking bullshit religion, I was out by 8, fucking stupid, anyone who believes in it, cult bullshit. And then afterwards I'm like, oh dang, so what can we post online? And they're like, please don't post anything where I said any of that, because my parents wouldn't like to see that. I don't want to be upset. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's weird. Whereas like my family, I feel like everybody in my family, it's like you got to make your best guess about what happens after this life, and for some, I feel like they're like, this is ours. We're doing it, and even if we're wrong, I mean, it's strict enough that we probably get through the gates of heaven based on a couple other religions anyway.
One thing that
so I think we'll be all right.
One thing that I was talking about with my mom the other day about the Mormon religion specifically, and a lot of like, you know, kind of culty religions do this, where they play up the afterlife to be like this super amazing thing. And like Mormons do this where you're like, your life goal is to live your life in this way so that you can get this afterlife. Yeah. And I think it's so sad to like see, like, you know, like my grandma, right? My grandpa's been dead like 15, 20 years almost, and she's like, everyone in heaven is like, all my friends are pointing down and laughing at me, you know? And it's like, it's so sad to me that your existence is so like focused on getting to heaven that you can't even enjoy your life like on earth, you know? You're just like, oh, I just want to be on my fucking planet, you know? Like that I can't even experience my own life on the real planet that I'm standing on. Like, it's just fucking wild. Like,
yeah, I always think of it where it's like, because I felt like I had that viewpoint for a long time, where everything was like a bet towards eternity. And one of the things after leaving it is I was like, oh my gosh, I sacrificed so many moments though, like with people. Like I have too many memories where I would like lecture friends on what they should be doing and stuff like that when they weren't doing anything wrong. They're probably just being kids. And I'm like, oh, I could have just lived in that moment. But I was like, no, it's better actually. You're actually happier to be miserable right now because you're probably going to be super happy after this. And it's like, oh, that sucks to just bet on a miserable life, which I don't think it's miserable for everybody. For some people, it's like genuinely like, nope, that's what makes me happy. And I'm like, that's awesome. Didn't work for me. Yeah. But that's cool. If it genuinely is happy for you, that's great.
I would say a lot of my faith did make me genuinely happy. Yeah. But my problem is I have all these intellectual I couldn't make the math work out with religion, where it's like, okay, like I remember even early on, like I said, if I had developed intellectually like 6 months longer, I probably wouldn't have joined, because I remember it was all saying, yeah, you need to read your Bible, you need to pray every day. And I was like, wait, but you also told me that God is omniscient and knows everything. If he knows everything, why do I need to talk to him? It's like, what am I supposed to tell him if he knows everything?
Yeah.
Is he just like fucking with me? Is that it? It's like, hey, tell me what you want. I already know it, but watch this. He's gonna tell me anyways. Tell me what you want. Tell me what you need.
Dear God, I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah,
I knew it.
I feel sad about my sins. I knew it, dude. I totally do. I was the one who made him feel sad about his sins.
I mean,
that way.
at the end of the day, like, all religion is just like social science to make people feel better about themselves and like the world they live in, and so like, and maybe it's not one that we really need as a society anymore, like we don't really need religion to tell us not to murder people anymore. We have governments, like, like we don't really need religion to like have community or whatever. Like we have, extracurricular activities and sports and like all these other ways to meet people and have like friends. And then like you don't really need to pray anymore to God and talk to God about all your problems because you have a therapist, like there's just all these things that have been, I think, like where religion was good for and can be good for, like modern aspects of society is like replacing those tools that religion was like made good for, and now it's kind of like a hindrance to a lot of like development.
I think it does depend on the person in some ways at the same time, because I think for my childhood, part of the reason I was like really in it to win it, and the thing it did for me is I grew up in a house that felt so chaotic that there was nothing to ground me. And so that's what religion did. It was this promise of like, if you live this way, you will be happy. And even though that like caused some other problems down the road, at the very least, it like helped me feel like, oh, I have some control over my life to help myself be happier, even if I can't control my parents and make it that way. So it did help. And so for me, I started getting out because I was like, oh, I don't feel that chaos anymore. And then it became more of like an intellectual thing where I was like, what is my relationship with God? And the more I explored that, the more I was like, oh, he's not here. And I no longer feel that need because I'm not chaotic and I'm in charge of me. But then I know other people who like, there's this cool group called Thrive in Utah and in a couple other places. It's basically like an actual ex-religious church for people who have left religion but mostly crave community. And it was interesting. I went there a while back, and a good amount of the people who like show up to their meeting were the type of people who, when you go to church, like that is the social hour for those people, because they kind of need people to feel obligated to interact and help them. And there's just people like that. And there's nothing wrong with those people being like that. That one accountant that you had to drop as a client, terrible client. But if you were going to church, you'd probably be like, well,
he's a great dude, and he is a Mormon.
And if you were in church, you'd probably be like, well, I guess I gotta talk to Brother Johnson. God wants me to be good to him, and all that sort of thing. So I do think there's this aspect where until some of these other things get better at it, I think we will have religion, and I think it will fill a spot for a lot of people until we get good enough sports games where it is like, hey, and if you're socially awkward, you get in free, or whatever the solution is.
I mean, that was, I get what you're saying.
I feel like religion is always going to be around. Going back to what you were talking about with the, hey, forget about life here. It's all about after we're dead. But that's just because I think every single human being has a fear of death. And the whole idea of it's like it can't just be over then, because we joke around how about it's like we're atheists, and it's a bleak and depressing worldview to have. Is there hope? That was actually a question we used to ask people on the interview. A lot of times, like, okay, so you don't believe in God. Is hope a thing for you at all? And it was very interesting getting into that with people, like how they found hope. But I think just because death is something you cannot escape, and it's very scary that's it. And religion says, oh, we know what happens, and then people are like, thank God someone does, and they lock in on that.
So I so badly wish as soon as you were like, death is something you can't escape, I pictured you pulling out a gun.
Being like, hey, maybe you should have done a background check on your podcast.
We all know death is something we can't escape, and one of us won't escape it today.
turns into Saw 16.
I've already killed 17 dogs.
That's true. Plus 16 zombies. I don't know how that multiple choice worked out.
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna be a fun clip.
It's 830 bushels of dead
Oh,
dogs.
that's right.
So.
That's right.
That's a lot.
It's more than a Cybertruck.
Yeah, that's roughly 8 Cybertrucks.
Well, shit,
It's like
dude.
3,500
They were big
packs.
dogs. Just relax.
We'll kind of wrap it up here a little bit, but really quick, what are you guys proud of that you've done recently?
You guys.
No, don't do that. To
You
me.
guys, Max.
Come on.
We're proud of you, Max.
Yeah. My heart.
I'm-
What are 2 things that you're proud of?
Oh, Max and Samson. Is that what it is?
Not what I meant.
I'm proud of my kids.
I knew you were gonna say that
Yeah.
because you're a good dad.
Well, but no, legit though. I got so lucky that my kids are both like amazing people. My daughter right now, she's in England doing study abroad,
Nice.
and she's just she is like living it. She's cashing in on all of it. She just like this weekend, like she went to Paris one weekend. This weekend she went to Dublin to go do Dublin Pride, and it's just like she's
cool.
killing it.
If she needs a grill made, she can hit up our buddy Chase in London. He can make her a
Okay.
grill
All right.
for her teeth
Good.
if she wants to.
Hey, hun, remember how we spent all that money on braces? Yeah, forget that. Go get a grill on.
Get a grill.
With who? With Chase?
Chase,
Find
yeah.
Chase.
The frequent need of getting a grill in London.
right.
A lot more business than you think.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it feels like I'm just repeating, but I mean, kids were the first thing. to
God,
come out. I
get
got
your
kids
own
as well.
fucking answer.
No, your kids.
Oh, my kid. Oh, that's okay. I accept that answer.
Not my kids.
Do you have kids?
I do. I've got 2.
Oh.
They're 6 and 3. There's two
Nice.
two goofy boys. They're fun.
Two little kids.
Yeah. And my wife as well comes to mind.
Oh, I'm also.
No, Greg. I'm
missed
proud
your
of
chance.
I'm proud of Crystal Paloa,
Oh, fuck. That's my.
Greg's fiance.
Yeah.
I just want to say, great job, Crystal. I know Greg didn't
Cool
say
name.
it, but
Yeah.
yeah, she's great. She's great.
I'm proud of Adam's mom, because she knows.
Wait a second. Let's see if it's something about like from my life.
Like an achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we already talked about Comedy Church, and that's kind of the main focus right now. We sold out Phoenix, Arizona.
Nice.
Whoa.
That was a show down there.
Oh.
So big out of state show, and
Yeah.
we're trying to make moves right now, and that was a really fun and exciting sort of thing that happened. I was really proud of that. Yeah, that's the thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
We sold out there, and we sold 11 tickets at Mad Sweden Boys.
Dude, that's pretty good.
So
I only
good.
sold 9 a couple weeks ago.
So there you go.
Wasn't my show, but I was on it, so.
Yeah, our Friday show was 11, and they were enthused, and I was like, this is probably not a good sign. So, like, I love Mad Swede, but I hope you guys sell more.
Oh, the Mad Swede was enthused, not the crowd.
No, Mad Swede. They were like 11.
I was like,
that's
I don't
awesome.
remember the crowd being enthused.
Yeah. Well,
They weren't dead. They were great people.
I thought they were good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did good. It was just few.
Yeah.
We love the Swede.
Saturday
We love
was
the Mad.
packed, but that was
Yeah.
not because of us in the slightest.
Well, Theo Vaughn was here on Friday night.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
Yeah, that's like I know everyone I know went to the Theo Vaughn show on Friday.
Oh, okay.
He did like 2 Thursday and then 2 Friday. I think.
Where was he at?
Morrison Center. I want
that's why
to say.
they
Is
couldn't-
that
Extra
Taco Bell?
Mile.
Extra Mile. What is that? The same thing?
That's
All
why
3 of
they
those are the
couldn't
same
book
thing.
us.
Is Morrison Center a different thing? Okay.
Morrison Center is the last 2 you said were the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Taco Bell is now Extra Mile.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
It's all good.
Arena.
Anyway, Bloom's taxonomy. Do you guys want to say the last things?
Sure.
And
Yeah.
then-
Yeah.
Can you like say grace or something?
Yeah.
This is closing prayer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dear Pope Francis GSEs,
Ababa Bugula.
Sorry, that was snaps for the Pope.
are you translating in tongues?
I'm taking what you're saying and I'm translating
Translating.
into tongues.
Okay. Please help us to all kill all the dogs that are put before us. Please allow all present to open their hearts unto the idea of maybe having sexual relations with Flo from Progressive. She's more attractive than people apparently give her credit for in this room. And also allow Max to come up with fewer options in the future. In the name of Samson's mom, who drinks regularly ever since her days at BYU. Amen.
Amen.
There we go. Perfect. That's
Amen.
Thank you.
I say amen.